Today is Saturday, November 19th, 2022. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for Survivor 43, Week 9.
Week of the Bam Bam Double Elimination.
Okay.
A lot of people are excited. They enjoyed this episode.
I did too.
I just want to help bring some of that to the beginning.
Okie dokie.
Bam Bam. You can do it with me?
No.
Too bad we don't have video. We could have graphics.
Oh, Lord, no.
That'd be a level that we're not really interested in, right?
I'd have to go wash my hair for that and style it. No. Nope.
No, thank you, says Joanne.
I have sleep hair.
Uh-huh. Well, you hadn't been resting good all week, but you finally...
I did today. I caught up today.
That's good.
Well, you had something else you had to do, and it worked out perfectly.
Yes. Yep.
As soon
all
as you
worked out
said
the way
that,
it was
I
meant
thought,
to.
then I'm sleeping longer.
Yeah.
Though I hadn't been able to. My blood sugar had been waking me up.
You know who's not sleeping? Some super fans who are excited about this episode. And some castaways that were delivering some action all on day 17. It's just boom, boom, boom.
Did you read any of the interviews?
I did.
Was there any information to
Anything
impart?
noteworthy? There was an odd thing. I can't remember if anybody mentions it in the feedback or not. There was an odd thing where James had given his knowledge is power advantage to Sammy after Janine left, I believe is what they said, because they were afraid something was going to come back into the game. I guess he was afraid another one was going to come in, so someone could have stolen it from him. It didn't make much sense, but it did indicate that there was a bigger connection or trust between him and Sammy than I was really aware of.
Huh. Yeah, that surprises me.
But nothing sort of changed my assessment. All the Ryan stuff was pretty much, what I thought for Ryan. He got cast for a specific reason, and he fulfilled that role 100%, and he's still good with that, and he's the Rupert archetype, and it is what it is, or whatever, till it wasn't for him.
All right.
Yeah, so no, I don't recall any grand insights. Maybe some of the feedback will spark something that I recall, but that part was kind of dull.
Well, let's get to it.
How many folks checked in with us as we head into a big holiday week here in the States?
There were 15.
15. Fantastic 15. Let's hit it. First up, we got a call from Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here. Oh, man, that was an awesome double boot episode. What I like with the splitting of the teams here, unlike in a lot of years past, it was not a simple pagonging, predictable double boot. It was two blind sides, some great camp strategic play going on there, even though I wish it was 90 minutes. Stacey, I know you're craving for it, and
yes.
I'm craving for it, and all our listeners are craving for it, so I'm letting out a great big boom, boom, and James, sayonara, man. You had it coming. Your big ego. I knew when he got into it, Owen, he was in big trouble. I thought maybe, again, based on the edit, I was going to be fooled. And poor Owen, who I really adore, I don't think Owen's going to win, but I would have felt so bad if he got voted out. But you know what I give credit to, though, honestly? Noelle. Now, Noelle could be the next person voted out next week, but I thought she masterminded the whole thing when she used her steal a vote the right way, even though she took it from going, but she wanted James to think he could trust her, and it worked. They even got Carla to flip. I was shocked with that now, because Carla and James were like 1-2 since the very beginning with Coco. That was crazy. So I give a lot of credit to Noelle there, and a little bit with Sammy as well, even though Sammy's kind of flip-flop in there. And by the way, real quick, great job by Carla on that immunity win. Even though she's doing the It's Not Me basis, she has a good social game. They all love her. And unlike Sandra, I know she's been compared to Sandra, she's awesome in challenges. Good job, Carla. Okay, and Ryan, I saw that somewhat coming for Ryan because he had no strategy whatsoever other than going out and getting 20 fish, making camp life great. But he was maybe a good social person because he was seen as likable and definitely a beast physically, which is probably why he was voted out. But Ryan just didn't offer anything strategically. You heard Jesse say it. Well, I don't know really what ended up changing their minds, because I really thought going in it was going to be poor Cassidy, and I actually like Cassidy. So there you go. So it was Cody and Jesse that made that happen right into Gable there. Wow, 2 blind sides and 2 men that were voted out too. Off to Ponderosa, but no clips. Oh, I wish we could see clips, because I have a feeling, guys, Ryan is going to be great at Ponderosa. He seemed very happy and graceful. And James, I think, is going to be bitter. I got to see what James says in his interview there, how he reacted after the fact, because we don't get any Ponderosa anymore. But this was a great episode, guys. So much back and forth. I'm going to check out the extra clips, and I think next episode, guys, it could be Noelle, but we'll see. And I'm shocked Carla is still not a target. Take care. Woo.
Whoa, thanks, Pete. It did Pete reminded me of one thing that I did see, and I'll include a link in the show notes to it. I found a YouTube channel that's grabbing some of those Ponderosa, I'm doing the air quotes around that, Ponderosa clips. Basically, they're just giving them a phone and telling them to say something for a couple of minutes. This is the extent of the videos that have been recorded. And Janine's was, the Janine one that I looked at was her saying that she's getting ready to go to tribal council, which that's a lot of insight, rich content. And she was wearing a flower behind her left ear, some kind of special flower in Fiji, which meant that she was single.
Single, yes.
Oh,
right
okay.
side was married.
Right. So she said that.
Well,
Fascinating.
Mike K has posted a link to those on the
you
Facebook
said that he posted
page.
something that they were on Instagram also, right?
No, I think Jeremiah did that.
Oh, okay.
But Mike posted some to the YouTube ones, I believe, if I remember correctly. And so there are links there if you need them.
And I had seen Ellie's.
But you're right, they weren't
and
much.
Maybe NECA's. There just wasn't a lot there.
Well, I saw James and Ryan's. And
yeah, did
they were
they have
there
anything
as
to
well.
say?
Yeah,
Was
they're
James
not
still
much.
stewing? Yeah.
He didn't say much. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, they give it to them and they don't seem to know kind of. And sometimes they'll go around and the other people will say hi, and it looks like even they have not separated the jury from the post jury or pre jury boots.
Oh, they're still there in the.
Yeah,
the
somebody
hotel.
showed Justine.
Okay.
So I think it was Justine.
So they've cut that.
No, Lindsay.
So the accounting/finance department claimed another victory by destroying the Ponderosa videos, issuing a cell phone, and not shuffling the pre-merge folks away to go on what they had always called a vacation, where they took them on different trips to
Sent them
different
to different
nearby areas. Yeah. So they're not doing that either. So another finance victory
I'm
that we can
not.
really get behind in terms of the Excel spreadsheet work that they're doing at Survivor Entertainment Group right now.
Okay, move along.
Thanks, Pete. Next up, we got a call from Robert.
Hey, Joanna, Stacy, and Survivor fans. This is Robert from Canada calling in with my listener feedback. I hope that everyone enjoyed this episode. I thought it was really good. I think if it was 2 hours, it would have been great, but I still think it was a really good episode. And I found the challenge this week, even though we've seen it a few times, to be a lot more competitive and compelling than the one that we saw last week. Going into the challenge, I had Noelle and Owen as my vote off, so I knew right off the bat that I wasn't eligible for the 2 vote off points, but I thought, hey, at least I have double the chance of getting 1 vote off point, even though it didn't end up panning out that way. It's funny in this challenge that you're out as soon as your ball drops, but it almost seems like as soon as it moves in the cage there, your chances of recovering, especially to the point of winning, are almost zero. Carla's performance in this challenge was super impressive, and she just continues to add to her already stellar resume. And Cody is proving that he not only has the strategic chops in the game, but I think he's going to be a challenge threat moving forward in the game as well. I wonder when Noelle approached James about this idea of using the steal a vote against Owen, if it raised any alarm bells in James's head, because as far as we know, James was pretty confident that Sammy and Carla were tight with him, so that's the only votes that you need to be able to get Owen out. But maybe it's just the fact that the shot in the dark is in the game, even though it ends up being a non-factor most of the time, so it's hard to know, right? Going into Tribal Council, I was pretty sure they were going to send Owen home, and at the time I thought that that was the right move. But I think that James was becoming too much of a liability in the game for Carla, so I think she was going to have to get rid of him sooner or later, so I think it was probably the move. I think he was becoming too abrasive, so I think it was probably smart to send him home. The interesting thing is we don't really know how she felt about that move, because I think obviously if Sammy wanted to get James home, he didn't even need Carla, but it made sense for them to stick together. But was Carla actually happy with the move? It's hard to know. And I think whether or not she was happy with the move will control how the next part of the game sort of plays out. Like, they might have a tight 4 there considering they worked together to vote James, but if she wasn't really happy with having to do that in the vote, then maybe she'll choose to form a different alliance. For the other tribe at Tribal Council, I think it made sense to get Ryan out of the game. I think they didn't know what transpired exactly to force James to go home. So I think that voting Ryan was the right move, because you know he has no allegiance in the game and you're not going to frustrate anybody by getting rid of him. For next week, I think I'm going to have Cassidy as my vote off, but I'm also thinking that they might be looking to just get rid of an easy vote off, so Gabler might be going home as well, even though he's a GOAT in the game. But I look forward to hearing everyone else's feedback to help form my opinion, and that's it for me. You take care.
Thanks, Robert. Robert made me think of something else that was in Ryan's interviews that was a good aha, kind of a circle back, because he talked about how with the challenges that he's had in the early onset MS and all that his mom helped him through, that he still would need time. He would be processing stuff. And so when he would go around and talk to everyone and then he would go off on his own, it would give him the space and the time that he needed to look back at everything that he had just seen and go, oh, you know what? So-and-so's body language wasn't right. It wasn't in sync with, or their expressions on their face, or they weren't looking me in the eye, or all those kinds of things. And because he was doing so well, I wasn't even thinking about that still being a factor for him, when indeed it actually was with what he shared in the interviews. And so this is another reminder of just how fantastic he really did perform in that regard, and how he was still able to process that information and connect those dots. I did appreciate that part of the interview.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Robert. Next up, we got an email from Mary in Maryland.
Finally, just what I've been waiting for. Someone using an advantage at the right time to engineer a blindside. Thanks to Noelle for that. Hopefully, more exciting moves like that will come. Amazing that it was only day 17 and the survivors only have 7 days left on the island. 24 days hardly seems long enough to truly let the game of Survivor play out. In the old days, the game would still have 3 more weeks left. I think we are missing a lot by not having the exhaustion, boredom, and time for relationships to ebb and flow that more time allows. Predictably, I had chosen James and Ryan as my vote-offs for this week.
Nice.
And just before the show aired, I changed it from Ryan to Noelle.
Nope.
As soon as I saw how the tribe was divided for the challenge, I knew I had lost a vote-off point.
Yep.
Happy to have chosen correctly with James, though. So far, the only other vote-off point I've gotten was when I forgot to add my picks one week and still had Ellie left over from the week before. I was glad to see my USB Owen just barely make it through another week. Carla continues to impress. I think Jesse is playing a great game. Cody is playing right along with him, but is much more of a noticeable target. Jesse is so much more under the radar, and I can see him getting through to the end. I want to write more, but I'm traveling, so I haven't had much time. Want to get this in before the deadline, so I'll end here. Until next week. All right, thanks, Mary.
Mary mentioned 24 days, but we're actually going
It's
to 26.
26, yeah.
So, but it's the spirit of what she was saying was certainly still there. Thanks, Mary. Next up, we got a call from Nora.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Loved your recap. I'm totally with you, Joanne, on several points. I'll explain. Okay, when we're looking at who's left, you have the two kings. I'm going to say Cody/Jesse, and the other one is Carla/Jesse. Now, under that, you have the lieutenants. Noelle would be a third for either of those pairs. In the last vote, you had perfect conditions. There's 5 of us, okay? You get out whoever needs to be gotten out. Well, if you don't get Noelle out as fast as possible, I'm sorry, she wins the entire thing, because how brilliant is Noelle? And what a woman. I mean, I'm sorry, she's an athlete of highest caliber, and she's brilliant. So if you don't kill that queen, you can't. Okay, so that was dumb. They wasted a vote yesterday in going for the low fishes, the pawns. Owen's just a pawn. Why are you saying, oh, easy vote? What are you scared of, Carla? You're a queen, okay? You're in contention for the throne. Act like it. So is there a closer bond between Jesse and Carla or Cody and Jesse? This is the answer. Like, I really am praying. I'm like Joanna in that I'm real soft on Jesse. I'm soft on Ryan. I'm telling you, I really... It's because I'm in my 60s. He's a wonderful boy. And I mean a man boy, but he's just wonderful. I feel I'm really rooting for Jesse and Carla team over Cody and Jesse. Voting out Cassidy or Ryan last time, stupid. Okay, that was a waste. Those are pawns. That's a little frustrating there. But Noelle is going to win if you don't take her out like this very next vote. Rajmi slipped into 3rd place in Australia. I'd love to hear from her which of her vote-out choices hurt her. Like, I want to hear how she's thinking, because she's obviously the best strategician of us, or has been for weeks. Listen, editors have to start to get with the times. Sorry, Dwight keeping it from us about the idol and everything. No. Bravo TV is killing CBS right now by being transparent with its viewers. They don't trick the viewers, but CBS still uses, I know, we'll pull one over on the audience. They cost me an hour of my entire life. Mind you, I was dropping off dogs doing my job. But I wasted an hour re-listening to Dwight over and over again to answer, why didn't he give Janine back her idol? Like, I missed something. Come on. No, I missed something. We end up resenting you wasting our time like that. So drop the curtain, okay? Be transparent. Let Dwight say, hey, CBS won't let me, you'll find out next episode. Okay. And thank you so much for everything you do.
You get him, Nora. Oh. Next up, we got a call from Rebecca.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Rebecca calling from Northern California. And oh my God, guys, right after I left my feedback last week, I called while I was riding my bike in Napa. Literally 15 minutes later, I got attacked on my bike by a pit bull, and it bit me and drew blood on my calf. It wasn't that bad in the end, and I was able to complete my bike ride. But literally in my head, I was like, I could hear Jeff Probst going, Rebecca, you're bleeding and still going. Oh, the humanity. Anyway, I loved the episode this week. I say that every week, but I really, really loved the episode. Everything kicked into high gear. It was all so exciting with the double elimination and not knowing who would be on what team and how do you vote. But I got my first vote-off point of the season with Ryan. And it's crazy that it was just one day between the episodes and so much changed in one day. I was ecstatic that Carla, with an injury and stitches in her hand, won immunity too. I just thought that was incredible. Go Carla. And I really liked the backstory for Cassidy. You guys mentioned in your feedback when they were showing how sad the story was about her sister, that, oh my God, is this foreshadowing that she's going to go home? And I was really hoping that she would stay. It kind of was a double elimination, double showdown of two different rivalries, and I love that Noelle bested James. I feel like with the knowledge is power, nobody ever plays it correctly, and maybe if it were me, but you can't really say because they're hungry and they're tired. If somebody came to me and said, I'm going to do my steal a vote, but I'm going to use it and steal Owen's vote, I might then use my knowledge is power advantage and take the vote. So I know it's definitely going for me. I think James got eliminated because he rested on his laurels and he just trusted that things were going to go his way. I think he had too big of a head. I think he thought he was playing better than he was. And I also think the same goes for Ryan. I think that he thought just providing was doing enough for his tribe and he didn't have to put too much more effort in. The people who are playing the smartest right now, I feel, are two different duos, Cody and Jesse and Carla and Sammy. They are all kind of quiet, kind of smart, really think it through, strong players, great personalities, and they are my four favorites. I'd be really happy with any of them winning. They're all fantastic. I'm having a wonderful time watching. Can't wait to see what happens next week. I've spaced out all my points really well on making people safe. So in spite of 4 pretty little puncture wounds on my calf, I'm going to go ride my bike in Napa against Matt. You guys have a great day. Can't wait to hear what everyone else has to say. Thank you again. Bye-bye. Oh, one last thing. For my friends on the Facebook page who live on the East Coast, I live on the West Coast. Maybe could we not say who got voted off before I even see the show? I'd really appreciate that. Okay, that's all. Bye-bye.
See, Rebecca's managed her safe points very well.
Oh,
Did you hear that? Thanks, Rebecca.
I have not, and oh well.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Well, we hope you heal soon with your little 4 puncture marks, and we're glad he didn't take a big jump.
Well, I'm glad that he let go, because that's uncommon with that breed. Thanks, Rebecca. Next up, we got an email from Rids in Winnipeg, Canada. Hello, Joanna, Stacy, and Survivor fans. It's my first time giving feedback, but I've been listening for a while. I'm a big fan of Survivor, and I thought this episode was the season's best so far. Your recap show was spot on and had me laughing several times. Joanne, I love how free and spontaneous you are with your comments, even when you disrupt the temporal flow. And Stacy, you're always insightful and witty, and I tend to agree with you on most things, with the exception of bacon in the oven. Bacon in a frying pan all day long. But you're from Canada. You have fancy bacon. I don't think it's the same thing. See, you're mixing stuff up.
I'm not sure he's talking about now, Canadian bacon.
If you were to cook actual bacon like we have here in the States, then you'd do yourself a favor to cook it in the oven, and you'd get a superior product like I do. You're welcome. My thoughts on the show. So long, King James, or should I say, sour beans. The knowledge is power advantage once again, not delivering. Maybe someone should try keeping it a secret. That would be novel. That hasn't been attempted yet. James will be a bitter juror for sure and never really had a chance at the mill because his voice was so bad. Maybe they'll have some throat coat tea at Ponderosa. Yes. A fond farewell to Ryan, never playing to win, and no doubt happy with the clams he took home. Cassidy, her pandering shows us she knows her best chance of winning is being called back on a future show. She may have Jeff's vote already. I bet she did. She locked it in with her little monster speech there. The alligator also has no chance, but I'm sure if you called him a goat, he'd say, yep, greatest of all time. Owen, I'd say, has a slim chance if he can somehow bring Cass and Gabler with him to the final tribal council. That leaves 5 with a chance for the mill with Carla, Jesse, and Cody on top. There's an argument for Noelle being up there, but she now has a big target and no protection. I believe she's next if an idol doesn't save her. Sam Bam could win, but has to make some good moves to do it. Jesse, I believe, has the most agency in the game, but he'll have to take out Cody at some point. I guess that it was Cody that flipped the script on the Ryan vote, removing a rival in upcoming physical challenges. That makes most sense. Carla is the biggest threat to win if she makes it to the end. She took a hit losing James, but has the social skills to pivot and survive. The game's up in the air and could go any direction, and my wish list for the next 2 vote-offs is Gabler and Cassidy. But I think the big threats will start going after each other. Whatever happens, I'm excited for it. I'd love to see the idols come out. Again, I'd like to say thanks to Joanne and Stacy for recapping the show every week, and all the Survivor fans for their listener feedback. Also wanted to wish Parker from Indiana luck on getting on the show, and Stacy as well. Maybe you'll both be on the next Fans versus Favorites. Could happen. Take care. Thanks, Rids. I've thought of that many times myself. Next up, we got a call from Drew.
Hey, Joanne and Stacey. Hey, everyone. This is Drew. The best my voice has sounded in, 3 weeks or something, so feeling pretty good about that. So, okay, as I was listening to your recap show, you said this would be a really bad week to miss your picks, for your picks to roll over, I should say, and guess what? Guess what I did this week? That's right. I let my picks roll over. But you know what? It could have been worse because I had James go last week. So I actually think I would have picked Ryan, so it could have been better for my second pick, I should say. It could have been better for me, but it could have been so much worse. I'm gonna accept that. But I'm definitely calling in because I want to hit that before I put it up, and then the time is passed. So I thought this was actually a pretty decent episode, mostly because I was excited to see all of the back and forth. And Cassidy and Noelle both really came forward in a really big way as far as strategic gameplay, which I liked a lot. I didn't like so much when it became, it seemed like Noelle was kind of taking a shot at the test. Let me just ask this question. How would it come across if 2 women at the tribal council were having a discussion or an argument or a debate or a battle, whatever, and one of the men was like, there's just too much estrogen in here? I don't know. I'm just saying. I know they're not, it's like apples and oranges, but I'm just saying as far as chemical makeup, all of that, I'm just saying, it rubbed me the wrong way. Maybe they had to have it out. Maybe they had to have a conversation. Maybe they had to have a debate. So I thought that was kind of dismissive and kind of sexist, actually. So that was kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. But Cassidy, I thought, was a champion. I thought she was awesome, which is funny because I thought maybe it was setting her up for a vote out just because of the Weeby backstory. But I just have another question. When exactly? I'm trying to figure out the exact moment. There must be a time, or at least a general era, when Jeff became the most obnoxious part of Survivor. When did this happen? The weird affectations in his voice when he talks to them, the weird expressions, the weird themes that he insists on injecting, like the weird, he's always done the failed talk show host thing, like, how do you feel, like that a million times. So I know I haven't done winner and loser of the week for a long time, but I'm going to give the loser of the week to Jeff because, dude, just stop. Seriously, I used to be kind of the guy that was kind of like, oh, there's no Survivor without Jeff, but no, at this point, I'm stopped. But yeah, winner of the week, I'm going to give it to Cassidy. So I was really glad to see, James was pretty ticked off. That was kind of funny. But I think that James and Ryan both played as well as they could. They just did not see it coming. So anyway, a few random thoughts. I was kind of annoyed at the implication toward the toxic masculinity theme that you hear a lot going around. So just wanted to point that out. Maybe I'm not the only one, but yeah, Jeff, shush. Okay, talk to you later. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Thanks, Drew.
Well, maybe that's why they ignored Noelle.
I think you said she had already been dismissed essentially by Owen at one point prior to that.
Yeah.
When he wanted to explain some more.
I would have ignored her too, I think. So.
I think to answer Drew's question, it's when he took over as an executive producer, when they supposedly he was contemplating leaving Probst, that is, and then they gave him the big bump,
because
the big
wanted
promotion.
More control, maybe.
Yeah, and that control, I think, was sort of the trigger, the beginning of him injecting more of himself into the show in that regard. I think you can kind of track it back to that. When did that? It was in the 20s, I think. The 20s was some really weird seasons in there. Thanks, Drew. Next up, we got a call from David.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. It's David in a what looks like to be a whiteout in Pittsburgh. It's 32 degrees and snow is falling and I'm cold, so I'd like nothing better than to get to a hot island in Fiji and start off with a heated tribal council. On one tribal council, we've got the master strategist, Ryan, who concocts a plan where he has everyone think they're going to vote on him or Cody until Gabler points out that Cody has immunity. So when he got voted out, I wasn't surprised. It's been coming a long time. He feels like he's not been a part of the group since the beginning. But if we can remember, he and Gio thought they were running the show when they had an alliance of 2 in a team of 6. Anyway, he left in good graces, a sweet man, and I'm sure he'll have a good time in Ponderosa. But at the first tribal council, things were a lot more lively after the O and James confrontation. I said last week that this looks like it was the beginning of James's downfall. We've seen a more negative edit. All this talk about him as the godfather, him talking about himself in the third person, and what does cool beans mean? And he seemed in the beginning to be sleepy, kind of laid back, but once he started to get power, we could see another side, a darker side of James coming out. When he left, you could see, unlike Ryan, he really was a lot more bitter about his ousting. And of course, after predicting that it was his turn to go, I voted to have him safe. Anyway, I am confused about Noelle's decision to use her steal a vote in that way. I mean, I think she could have as easily played James, and then she would still have Owen's vote and Sammy if Sammy could be trusted. So I'm not sure getting rid of your steal a vote was wise, but maybe she just wanted to get rid of that target on her back. But we'll see how. I mean, she could be the next one to go. So I'm just not sure why she had to do it that way. I know she was excited about making a big move. I'm just wondering if she made it too soon. As for the rest, Cassidy finally got her revenge because Ryan had been targeting her way long before the merge. Sammy's been running from person to person with information, but now there's starting to be less of a place for him to hide. And whenever a decision's made by USB, Carla's in the middle of it. And notice she rarely throws a name out first. Can't wait to see what happens now that we're down to 8. Talk to you next week. Bye.
Awesome. Thanks, David. I saw a video clip earlier today of, I think they were in upstate New York, where they got between 4.5 and 5 feet of snow.
It's cold here.
It's not even remotely on the same level.
I know, but I've been cold all week.
It's all relative, isn't it, baby?
I know.
All relative. There we go. Thanks, David. Next up,
I would freeze there.
We've got email from Jack here in California, where it's quite chilly, according to Joanne. Hello, Survivor fans. I don't have a whole lot to say about this most recent episode, but I was quite impressed with how Carla navigated, how she held on to her pole to get the win for her team. I kind of thought with how Cody was holding in there the last 2 immunity challenges that it was only a matter of time before he won himself immunity. That double tribal was a bit crazy. I had a feeling that James was probably going to go home, but I didn't think Ryan would go as well, since he was providing fish and food for everyone, but at the same time I can see why they went after him. At this point, it looks like it'll end up being a pretty great finale. From what I can tell with how people are playing and what's been happening out there, my predictions for the winner at this point could very well be Carla or Jesse because of the idols and how they're keeping that secret to themselves. Goodbye again, knowledge is power advantage. It would have been neat to see it being played correctly, but so far, obviously, it has not and is out of the game yet again for now. Do you think we may get a third try with it this season since there are still 8 players left? Can't wait to hear the others' thought process and what may happen next. I'd say yes, they are desperate, Jack. So yes, I suspect they will re-hide the knowledge is power.
I don't think they're going to.
No?
No.
I wouldn't put it past them.
It's failed twice. Let it go.
This is the 3rd time. Yeah, it's just, All right, thanks, Jack. Next up, we got a call from Noelle.
Hi everyone, it's Noelle calling from Albuquerque. That episode was fine, I guess. I still don't really know what these people are trying to do. That first vote out was really weird. It seemed like Noelle was just playing the steal a vote just to play the steal a vote. I didn't really understand what the point of all that was. The only thing I could think was maybe she stole Owen's vote because stealing James's vote would have tipped off Carla, and then Carla might have played the idol for him. That's the only thing I can think of because I'm not at all convinced that people don't know about Carla's idol. Sammy, I don't like that he has to run to everybody to get permission before he votes someone out. To me, that's weak gameplay. Like last week, he was running around asking everyone if it was okay to vote out Ryan after he already had enough numbers to vote out Ryan. Then this week, he already had enough numbers to vote out James, but he's still running to Carla for permission. That's not winner play, in my opinion. And then on the other side, we've got Cody. His actions make no sense to me whatsoever. What is the point of voting out Ryan? And then he's saying that Gabler is more loyal than Ryan. Ryan has voted with Cody in the last 3 tribal councils, like basically since they met. So, but Gabler, the one who hasn't voted with Cody consistently, he's the one who's more loyal? Okay. And I mean, Ryan was not like winning the game. This is the guy who goes fishing when everyone else is strategizing. So the only thing I can figure on that one is maybe Cody's thinking, I'm good at immunity challenges. So is Ryan. I'll eliminate the competition for the necklace. Makes no sense. Does look like next week is going to be fun and interesting. So I'm more excited to see next week than I have been for any of the other episodes so far. I am hoping that they'll get out either Sammy or maybe Cody or Jesse. Cody and Sammy are next on my list. I want them gone. So hopefully it's one of them, but I'd be happy with Jesse going too. But since Cody and Jesse have idols, that may not work out. Anyway, hope everybody else liked the episode better than I did, and have a great weekend. Bye.
Thanks, Noelle. Fine, I guess. Oh, I like that. Next up, we got a call from Jade-n-Christine.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Jade.
And Christine.
From Hawaii.
Aloha.
So I got both vote out points.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I was so not confident when I put them in. I was just like, I think. But okay, so Mom and I did something before the actual episode. We looked at some of the press photos that they released, and there was only like a few, but we figured out some of the makeup of the group. We were able to figure out like 4 on the blue and 3 on the red. We weren't 100% sure, but I think that did help me to figure out like who's on what team. But ultimately, I don't know, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah. Who do you think is in the majority alliance?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't even know if there is a majority anymore. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, well, based on the next time on Survivor, I think Noelle and Cody, especially Noelle, might be in trouble because she's blindsided James. And now she's aligned herself with Owen, but maybe it could be just for that vote. Maybe
Yeah,
not
it could
the whole
be.
thing. So I don't know. It just exploded. So
Yeah, maybe old Vessi is in charge.
Yeah.
Maybe. What were some of your highlights of that? For me, it was definitely Cody winning immunity because he got so close before and he finally got it. It was just very satisfying.
it was fun to see him winning the immunity and saying his mahalos.
Mahalos, FYI, there's no S on the end of mahalo. So funny.
And then how Ryan conveniently forgot that Cody had immunity when he was planning and scheming. It just kind of shows how he was more about the adventure than the game at that point. Yeah, so, and the blind sides. Come on.
Yeah. Always fun.
Yeah, we got to see that actual gameplay this time.
Yeah. I like that Ryan had a pretty good attitude when he got voted out. He was like, oh, well, got my shells. I'm happy. And like, we'll see how this game goes. James was definitely super bitter.
Yeah, Bitter Betty. Yeah.
But it was a good episode. I enjoyed it.
Excellent episode. And Stacey, I was excited to hear that you are teaching ukulele because it is an awesome instrument. We love it here in Hawaii, and I just recommend anybody who's interested, please go ahead and do that because it's very portable.
Yeah.
And you can learn some Christmas music and just play it at your next party.
Yeah, you can entertain. Mom actually plays the ukulele.
I know like 5 chords.
That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know, really. Anyway, thanks, Joanne and Stacy, for putting the podcast together. Thanks, everyone, for calling in. We look forward to hearing what everyone has to say.
Ahuyo.
Excellent. Yes, Hawaii, cradle of the ukulele, as my instructor likes to say. I can remember, when would this be? It's probably 8 years ago. Was that the last time we were there?
I can't remember.
And there was do you remember what that mall is?
No.
In Maui that we went over to a couple times? Mele Ukulele was in there. The Mele Ukulele store, or one of them. Anyway, I found out that they were teaching, because I wanted to go by there and see them, because these are they offer really high-end ukuleles. Nothing I could afford, but it was fun to go in and get to strum on them a little bit. And then I found out they were doing lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And what day of the week were they doing lessons on? Wednesdays, yes. So I would go over to, I can't remember the name of that mall.
Doesn't matter.
Anyway, I was thinking because Jade-n-Christine might know it.
Yeah.
But
we don't know what island they're on. That was on Maui.
Yeah. And so I would go over to the lesson and then race back, and then we would watch Survivor and do the podcast. But it was fun. And one of the lessons when I was there, Andrew Molina, I believe is his name. Fantastic. Just an incredible player. Real young man. He might have still been in his teens then. But he was like a virtuoso on the ukulele. And so he played, and his dad accompanied him. And I've seen him do concerts and travel around the world since then, but that was really cool, and to see him early on and to get to see that talent. And
yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
I just sang along. I didn't play.
Yeah,
there were such young children there playing.
Yeah,
just
there's a whole range of us, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was good stuff. And so I got to take some lessons while I was there in Hawaii, and then got to hear a little mini concert from him and his dad. That was fantastic. Thanks for bringing that memory back. Next up, we got an email from Josh the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, this was a much better episode. Splitting the tribe into teams of 5 finally broke the 7 stranglehold on the game. I was happy to see James go because his attitude was really rubbing me the wrong way. I'll miss Ryan, though, even if he thought Survivor was a fishing tournament. Anyway, here's hoping for exciting gameplay in the coming weeks. My other observations. James's arrogance and lack of empathy give me strong Richard Hatch vibes. Quite the comparison. KIP stands for knowledge is power. This season, it's more like kept in pocket. Ooh, I like that. Excellent repurposing of the acronym. The tribe is dysfunctional. They even have an engabler. Oh, jeez. I bet you Ellie would have loved that. Yeah, that was good. Joanne was hungry after the recap. I hope she had a nice fish dinner in honor of Ryan.
Actually, I think I sauteed vegetables and chicken.
Come on, just go with it. The fish. James shadowed both
fish.
Owen and Sammy. He's a stalker or a bratty little brother.
I had no Brian to bring me fish.
Stacy wants me to come up with a new joke. I want a pony. You just find new ways to use that every week, don't you? James played like the Godfather and got whacked. The challenge apparatus looked like a piece of steampunk gym equipment. Carla thought the challenge was so easy that she basically used only one hand. If you break trust with James, you go home. Did he break trust with himself? If Gabler thinks the immunity necklace looks good on Carla, he should see her bracelet. Cody peed all over Vesey Camp. Casting should make sure contestants are housebroken. Owen calls himself a lovable curmudgeon, but he went full get off my lawn on James. Noelle says there's too much testosterone. Hopefully, voting out 2 guys will help. James says one advantage makes things simple. The other 4 members of his team agreed. Next time on Survivor, teases remind me of Lucy Van Pelt yanking away the football. Yeah. Misdirection. James said his ouster was cool beans, but his behavior screamed sour grapes. Ba-dum-pa. Cassidy says the monster's hungry. Maybe they should have given it some PB&J. Ryan found out that bringing home 30 pounds of clamshells would result in a $20,000 fine. Cassidy, that has happened before when they've been in different areas where they've taken something or destroyed something and caused a problem. It seems like that happened with Survivor Outback. Maybe Colby and the Great Barrier Reef, something along that. It just made me flash back to something like that. Cassidy wants a tin can phone for eavesdropping. Maybe the professor can make one for her. There's plenty of fish in the ocean, but the tribe may not find them without Ryan. The immunity necklace will never be as meaningful to Cassidy as the one she already wears. James may be a chess master who thought he was king, but Noelle really rooked him. Sammy snitches get stitches doesn't mean you get to work with Carla. James' all my fault rant smacked of Mel Brooks' mad beeper rant and high anxiety. Carla knows that big girls don't cry, they persevere and win. You bet. I hope James doesn't do a touchdown dance at chess matches when things go his way. Next time, Cody says Jesse is steering the ship. Is there an iceberg dead ahead? Anyway, that's it for me for now. Thanks, Joanna, Stacy, for all you do. Can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Stay safe, everybody. Thanks, Josh. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Jeremiah.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. Hello, Survivor friends. Jeremiah here with some feedback for this week. And yes, what an exciting week of Survivor, obviously. You know, for us viewers, it's a lot of fun to see them do things like this to the players and split them up into 2 groups of 5, which obviously does make it very difficult. I totally understand why they do this. I mean, these kinds of tactics are perfect from keeping a giant alliance from just pigonging, you know, the old pigonging saying of another group of people. So I like that. I have to admit, as a player, though, I would be very frustrated with it. I think the one thing that really also concerns me is I think this type of constant switching things up and making it difficult to get through the game, I think has created an environment in which it's really hard to be that over-the-top, obvious game player. The ones that a lot of us get excited about watching, you know, the ones that are willing to cut throats and things like that. I mean, we get a little bit of that, but that person really, I think, is not going to win. You look at the 2 winners we've had in the past since they've made these changes with both Erica and even Marianne, for that matter. Yep. They weren't giant, big game players. At least they weren't in the very beginning of the game. I think now the new strategy is you got to basically keep your threat level even lower than it's ever been before. I think you have to just be really a quiet player for a long period of time, as much as possible. And then if you make any big moves, you do it much late in the game, maybe final 7 or so. It seems to be that might be the strategy to win. But I don't know, it'd be interesting to see what everyone else thinks. I mean, it was still early sample size on what they've been doing, but it definitely makes for exciting television. I'm not super surprised about necessarily the way things went. I was able to get one of the vote-off picks right, and I was almost close to having both of them. Now, I had the advantage of hearing Rob Cesternino on his predictions podcast. Apparently, enough people have picked apart all the screenshots, and I knew exactly how the 2 teams were going to be broken up, which is a big advantage. So I had a pretty good idea of probably what was going to happen, and now I'm worried that Cody and Jesse, you know, did they make the right call? Should they have stuck with their idea about going with Cassidy? I guess time will tell. Things don't look good when you look at the previews next time on Survivor, although I do think that's probably a red herring at this point, because the way I look at it right now, you have Carla, Cassidy, and Sammy seem to be a 3. Then you have the leftovers of Owen, Gabler, and Noelle, and then of course you have Jesse and Cody are kind of in the middle. Plus, of course, they have 2 idols. So honestly, I think they're kind of more in a swing position at this point. And my guess is they'll probably stick with Carla's side of things from what I can tell. And that means that most likely either Owen, Noelle, or Mike Gabler will be the one to go out next week. And that's probably where I'm leaning towards on one of those 3 for my vote-off point. All right, well, that's it for me. You guys take care. And until next time, this is Jeremiah from Southern California.
Awesome. Great analysis as always. Thanks, Jeremiah. Next up, we got a call from Jen.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California. I was happy to see Owen confront James. I'm a non-confrontational person. I don't know that I could have done that. That was an uncomfortable moment. But Owen saw his opportunity, and he took it, and he stood up for himself, and I think that's really good. In this game, when things upset you and you've been kind of beaten down so much, so often, you know, being lied to, being on the wrong side of the votes, it can be a lot to take. And I think that Owen managed the confrontation really well. There wasn't like fist fights or anything like that, but he was able to get some things off his chest and be real and say what he wanted to say and let James know that, you know, there are no illusions here of alliance or camaraderie or anything like that. And I liked watching James backpedaling because he had been found out. I really love seeing those moments because that's when real like strategy and thinking on the fly happens. This episode was really not Survivor tied up in a neat little bow. Everybody was really walking a fine line with their game, and I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was great. I'm kind of mad at Sammy for not keeping his mouth shut. I know he's trying to play his own game, but I really don't think his game lies with Carla. They haven't been showing us that they have a super close relationship, and they actually, if they haven't been on opposite sides of the vote, I feel like Sammy's been on opposite sides with Carla, so I'm not sure where that relationship is coming from at this point, so that'll be interesting to keep watching. I liked the looks on everybody's faces when they saw that James had been voted out at the first tribal council. And during the second tribal council, oh no, Cassidy, you did not just use Jeffrey's monster metaphor. I did not just hear that. Do not encourage the man. I think at Tribal Council, Ryan played the only card that he had in terms of convincing people to keep him. He has 30 pounds of clamshells in his pack, and what is that supposed to mean? That they won't eat anymore if he gets voted out? I mean, I thought that was a tough sell, but he is right in a way. I guess the people at Ponderosa are going to be eating real well tonight. Anyway, I don't think voting Ryan out was the right move at this time. Ryan has no agency in the game, really no power. People aren't taking him very seriously. He was setting up to be like classic GOAT material, so we'll see how that goes. Well, anyway, that's it for me. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone in the States. We're traveling this week, so safe travels to anybody else who's traveling as well. Until next week, bye.
Thanks, Jen. Actually, if you go back and look, they've shown several times where Carla and Sammy were connecting and sharing intelligence and things like that. So they have given us, granted it's not a lot and it would be easy to miss, but they have given us some data on that.
Yeah, because you went back specifically to see, and it was right after the merge, and she was telling Sammy that she had his back, and he's like, yeah, and I have yours, and we'll let you know if we hear your name, and that kind of things, where I noticed that it started. Also, there was an extra clip of Ryan, and he thought he was going to go home the week before, and he was saying, oh, man, I thought I was going to be the one to go, and I didn't have all my shells with me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to tribal council again without my shells.
Yeah.
Just in case. So that seemed to be his biggest concern.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I agree with Jen and the other folks that mentioned it. It would seem like it would have been much better to take Cassidy out, because I thought Cody and Jesse had just a fantastic point of let's isolate Carla, let's take Cassidy away from her, and Ryan, we've never been shown that he represented a threat at all. And who was it that was talking about it just earlier? About how Ryan had been voting with Cody and Jesse, how they had been voting together all this time, independent of Gabler. So I think that was David. Anyway, yeah, the Ryan one didn't make as much sense. It would have made way more sense if they'd stuck with what they had showed us prior to going, they had discussed prior to going to tribal council.
Oh, well.
Yep, there it goes.
It was their choice.
Thanks, Jen. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul, Louisiana here. And you know, Owen's been playing defensively since day one, so I was thrilled to see him outlast James, who I always felt had a bit of an attitude about him. In fact, I felt he had a lot of attitude, and that's why I wasn't sad to see him exit the game. That said, Owen arguing with James was not helping to endear him to people in any way, but hey, something had to give. But what concerned me, though, was how nonchalant Owen acted at Tribal about Nicole stealing his vote. I mean, we all know why, but I was worried that it was going to give James some cause for alarm. And sadly, I feel that Noelle wasted her advantage. It wasn't needed to oust James, but I think she desperately wanted credit for that move. And as I was saying, sadly, I don't think it gives her much credit. Now, will James be a bitter jury member? Well, I can't see James voting for anyone on the team that voted him off, even, and especially, his pal Carla. And just wondering, does anyone else think of Roseanne Barr when Carla's face fills the screen, or is it just me? And I've read that they took the Knowledge is Power parchment from James, so should we assume it's coming back? And can't they just print out another parchment, or is the budget that tight? Next on Survivor, does Gobbler get wind of Corey and Jesse throwing his name out there? Because he was thrilled about joining them in this episode. Or maybe Gabler's pissed off, and that may be a bad choice of words here, that Cody keeps marking his territory all around camp. Who knows? Next to go, hopefully it'll be a biggie and not a throwaway like Cassidy or Owen. I'm actually leaning towards either Cody, Gabler, or Jesse. And since Cody and Jesse can save themselves if they can read the room, I think that maybe they'll toss Gabler out. He's not a big fish, but he's kind of sort of part of their alliance, so it could be fun to watch unfold. Oh, and Joanne, you say Nicole, I say Corey. I've heard myself slip twice in my feedbacks talking about Cody so far. Hey, it happens. I'm old. I'm confused. Okay, I guess that's it for me. Take care, everyone, and happy Thanksgiving. Bye.
I was going to take
Paul.
it out of there, but
And I'm older than Paul. So.
Good deal. Thanks, Paul. Well, where do you think we sit? Paul's thinking it's Gabler. We've heard it may be Cassidy, maybe Noelle. Folks are hoping it's not Owen. Do you think they're going to wise up and go after Carla? Do they have any reason to look at her?
I don't think they're going to. No.
There's a blue tide that just went out with James and Ryan leaving.
Well, they have the least numbers if you're going by previous tribes. Because Baca and Bessie have
they're each at
three
three
each,
now. Yeah.
And Coco now only has the 2. But
so they've effectively done what they originally set out to do.
yeah, I guess they did. Bam, bam. And I don't know. I don't know if they'll keep targeting Owen since James is gone and he was the main one that wanted Owen out. I kind of think Noelle and Cassidy would be more dangerous. And Gabler. I agree that Gabler would be a good choice as well, just because I'm not sure you could trust anything he said. And he could be flip-flopping. And they showed us in the next on that he's trying to stir up some trouble or make some alliance with Carla and pointing the finger at Jesse and Cody. So if Carla decides to work with Jesse and Cody, which they don't seem to be considering her in their group when they were talking together, though I don't know how Jesse feels separately from Cody.
Right. But
together they're acting like, oh, well, we can weaken Carla if we take Cassidy and blah, blah. But, well, you weakened her anyway when you took James and Ryan. But, though I don't know if she was in with Ryan at all. But anyway, I think, yes, Carla, if they were really smart and into the fact that Carla's as well liked as she is, then yeah, that would be it. But I don't want to even contemplate that because I love Carla being there. So that would be more upsetting.
I would say if I use Jeremiah's logic, the most likely winner at this point is Gabler. That's your under the radar winner.
No.
Yeah, that's your under the radar winner.
No.
Oh, thanks to everybody who took the time to share your thoughts and predictions with us today. We enjoyed it. We know what it's like trying to pull something together as we head into these busy holiday weekends, this show and the next show. We're always thankful for whatever we get because we know there's a lot going on and people traveling like Jen mentioned and just people coming over, and here we are doing our little thing on our own.
We don't have anybody to come over. We don't have any family within.
There you go. Within 2,000 plus miles.
Yeah. 2,800 miles.
Actually, a little closer now.
Do.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot they had moved.
Not on the other side. Yeah.
Yeah. Had moved north of us. So.
Well, we appreciated hearing from everybody. We also want to say a big thanks to Kim. Thank you so much for your subscription donation. We appreciate your support that goes towards our operational cost. It's awesome. Thanks to Jeremiah for letting us know about the Survivor family losing Dan Limbo from Survivor Nicaragua. He's one of the standout cast members there. Dan passed back on September 3rd. He loved his expensive alligator shoes, something that Holly took into consideration. Our condolences to his friends and family.
If you play in JSFL, don't forget to make your Week 10 picks for one person voted off and 4 people who are safe. Now,
JSFL update. I almost forgot.
Yes, well, that's why I put it in the show notes. So
amazing that I remembered all on my own.
Yeah, right. Okay, so the Week 9 double vote off update is 3 people are tied in first now with 41 points.
All right.
18 people lost their USB for James and 8 for Ryan. 52 people lost a safe point for James and 45 for Ryan. 95 people earned a vote-off point for James and 105 for Ryan.
Right.
Now, I just kind of looked this up because I thought it was interesting. There were 33 people who had a 6-point week getting both vote-offs correct.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and they didn't lose any safe points. So that was awesome. Now, in the side challengers, Jeremiah's still in first with 40 points. With 37, we have Justin and Parker. 36, we have Chris, Rebecca, Robert, and Stacy.
We're bunching
and
up
with
there.
34, Cold Mike.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Good job.
All right. Anything else you wanted to discuss about this episode before we put it to bed?
No, I'm looking forward to the next one, though. I think we're at the exciting part. It's cranking up, moving to another
We've got,
gear.
what, 4 weeks
Yes.
is all left?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll be back here on Wednesday with our next recap. For those of you that aren't traveling, come and join us.
Yeah. Have a good one.